Hi, my name is Bill Lynch. I'm a birder, photographer, and educator. I work for a New Jersey Conservation Foundation. I'm an environmental educator, and I do some communications work for them as well. And so I have my hands on a lot of things there, but my favorite part of the job is to get people out to our preserves, to our trails, teach them about birds and butterflies and conservation. I started birding seriously maybe in 2007, 2008. That's as far back as my photography goes. That's how I can track it. And it's been varying levels of seriousness and time committed since then. Either right after college or at the end of my undergrad, I started becoming more interested in it, started spending more time outdoors and realizing just how many birds there were, how many different varieties and species. And then the more time I spent with those, I started to notice little nuances and behavior and variations in feather color, and it just really captivated me. And I keep a bird life list. And so what that is, very simply, is a list of all the birds I've seen or heard and been able to identify in my life. And so you could break it down. Some people keep lists by state or county or year. I've done a little bit of that, but really it's just a broad list of everything I've seen. And so my list is somewhere in the 900 range, a little over 900. I would love to get it to 1,000. It's slowed down considerably over the last few years, especially as you bird the same spots in the same state, New Jersey. And a lot of people think you probably identify species by seeing them, but with birds, especially small ones that live at the tops of trees and are singing way up in the canopies, you might not get a great view. So understanding their songs and their call notes are sometimes a better way to identify different species. I started out actually birding in places that were nearest to my home, including Great Swamp, which is where we are now. Sandy Hook, Cape May. I've been going to Cape May annually for probably 12 or 13 years now, which is pretty incredible. It's been that long. Some spots just stick with you. We pulled up to the Great Swamp today, and I remember seeing my first American bittern here, which was probably about 12 years ago. And even though you've seen them since then, there's something that sticks with you about that first time you see a bird, regardless of how common it is. It's pretty magical. There's an American redstart singing up in that tree, a really brightly colored male. Black back and wings, but with neon orange stripes going across his wings. And his tail, if you could see it. Almost all the birds we've seen today have been males, because we're out here at the beginning of May. So the males are here setting up territories, and the females will show up in the second wave. The Panama trip actually was the first time I had been internationally birding. Went by myself, and I saw a deal online and ended up talking with the guy who runs the tour company. And I went down there for a week, and it was incredible. I spoke about my life list. I think probably half of that list is from those two trips. So within 2 weeks of Panama and Peru, I picked up 400 or 500 different species, which is the same I've had in New Jersey over the course of a dozen years. There are a lot of challenges, especially as you're getting into the hobby. A lot of birds look really similar. A lot of songs might sound similar. And then of course there are things out in nature that you might not want to deal with while you're birding. The summer months are hot, there's bugs. The winter months are cold and windy. Luckily for migration, spring and fall are usually more favorable. But yeah, it's a challenge. Just like every good hobby has its challenges. When we were staying in Peru, we were doing some backcountry camping. The tour guide was kind of testing out this cheaper option. And so we stayed in these abandoned cabins, and one of the cabins had pink-toed tarantulas living inside them. And so the tour guide said very calmly, their bite really, really hurts, but it's not going to kill you or anything. But we all decided to bunk up in the other cabin. So there were like 6 of us in one cabin, and then the tour guide stayed in the cabin with the tarantulas. I haven't done so much of that over the last 5 years or so. We have a young son who's 4.5. So obviously family needs come first once you have a child. The year after he was born, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that limited our hobbies even more. I do still get out, but chasing a rare bird on a random Saturday or Sunday isn't as common as it once was. Pileated woodpeckers, really cool, really big, our largest woodpecker species in North America. The obsession starts with birds, but the more you're outside, the more you notice other things that are really intriguing. And so I'm constantly looking up and down for birds, and then for snakes, amphibians, butterflies, and other cool insects, spring ephemerals that might be popping up around this time. There's always something to see and learn. There's a pileated woodpecker at the base of a fallen tree. He was just hopping around through the woods here looking for a nice dead piece of wood that might have insects in it. I think he found it. Two male wood thrushes chasing each other through the woods. They've been going pretty hard for about 45 seconds now. And it sounds like one of them maybe won the day. It's one of the great blue herons back out there. A lot of warblers still coming in. Black-throated green, yellow rump. So I'm going through my life list now. I saw a king eider at Sandy Hook for the first time in my life. So I'm adding that to my big spreadsheet here. That's bird number 947. And so now I'll go into eBird where you can report bird sightings, and I'll add it there too, just so I have an official recording of it.
Wait, do they live on?
Hey, look at this. Owls.
Yeah. Wait. What's that? A snowy owl?
It sure is, a snowy owl. What's the kind by our house?
A barred owl.
A barred owl. What sound do they make?
Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? Some of my favorite birds are cardinals and blue jay and Carolina red. And the last one is chickadee.
Those are good picks. Part of the reason why I love the work that I do is because I'm hoping that people will understand the obligation we have to the natural world, so our kids can go out and appreciate those same things that we're appreciating, and their kids, and so on and so forth.